With Disney and Marvel's upcoming reboot of the Spider-Man animated series, we're looking at not the 4th or the 5th reboot of the series, this is the 9th reboot. So has Spider-Man evolved successfully throughout all these years, or has Disney put the series in a worse direction? Let's chat about it. I'm Jayblooey, this is my review of Spider-Man 2017's Origin episodes. So the Origin episodes are a series of 6 short episodes that set up the upcoming 26-episode season. It opens up with Peter Parker's Spider-Man flying over Oscorp and reminiscing about how he got his powers. Right off the bat, let's talk about Peter Parker's voice actor, Robbie Daymond. He's no newbie, lots of anime and cartoon credits, he's well established and very talented. I think he brings a lot to the table as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. His inflection and delivery are mostly great, there's a lot of humor there, however, I just don't think it's my kind of humor.
Name?
Peter Parker! P is in phosphorus, E is in electron, T is in...
Okay, you're on the list. Just wear this at all times.
Wow, my own Oscorp identification badge! I'm like Science Agent Double Helix 7.
You see, I started with him because I think the character sets up the tone for the whole series. Fast-paced and kind of annoying. It reminds me of those recent reboots on Cartoon Network like Teen Titans Go and the Powerpuff Girls. The older shows were slower paced and took themselves more seriously than their modern counterparts, and the change had the purpose to redevelop the shows for a broader and younger audience. Kids like wacky, that's a fact. Fast-paced, bright colors, loud noises. That's what gets kids' attention. And it looks like Spider-Man is not shying away from this newly standardized formula. Do I think the show has butchered the characters and writing in favor of this? No, definitely not to the extent of some other shows. You don't really see anything super out of character in this. Daymond, as a voice actor, however, really establishes this tone. He's quick, quirky, and sometimes grating. He makes a good Spidey, but I'm not the biggest fan of I don't know how extra he acts all the time, but I guess that comes with a new territory. I have always liked the subtle approach to Spider-Man much more. The quiet nerd with a quick wit and a knack for inventing has always been my side of the tracks. That's why I didn't like Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker, because nothing says underappreciated loner like this perfect face right here. He's the opposite of subtle. Daymond does a fine job for what the show aims for, you just have to get used to a more flamboyant and cocky Peter Parker. Trailing off what I was saying earlier about the new tone with the show, this is definitely going to be what turns people off on the series. Once again, I get it, it's a cartoon aimed at a younger audience. This is what the kids like, and I'm not the demo for this. If I want a more serious Spider-Man, I'm going to have to find it elsewhere, and that's okay. Alright, let's talk about the biggest issue that I have with the Origins episodes. Pacing. Squeezing your superhero origin story into a collective 25 minutes can't be easy, but this is pretty bad. This is not nearly enough time to establish Peter as a character separate from Spider-Man. Out of the 25 minutes, you get 3 minutes of total pre-bite Peter Parker screen time. And what do you get for those 3 minutes? Side characters and a Peter Parker who acts like a buffoon. And something that made me groan, at exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds, which is only 30 seconds into the origin story, Peter takes a freaking picture of the spider that bites him. It's legit, this fist-sized spider chilling in this futuristic technology giant's headquarters, and Peter's like, I gotta snap this. Come on. And immediately after, the place goes into this blaring lockdown with dudes in full quarantine hazmat gear and lights and sirens going off. And I guess it's cool that all these snotty teenagers are just hanging out? This guy literally tells Peter it's because of experimental spiders immediately after Peter takes a photo of what is clearly an experimental spider. And there's no recognition or reaction.
Spiders? And here I thought we had something to worry about.
Shut up, Peter. Oh, remember how earlier I was talking about the humor and how kinda ham-fisted it is? Well, here's an example clip of this.
Mr. Parker, another outburst from you and I'll kick you to the moon.
Well, scientifically speaking, Mr. Smythe, that's not possible.
This Mr. Smythe dude isn't just some douchebag, he's actually a supervillain in The Amazing Spider-Man. We might actually see him return as exactly that in the series, which would be pretty cool. And hopefully they do something to redeem this character, because from the short time in this scene, I just wish somebody would put glitter on his ceiling fan. Alright, so Peter Parker gets bit by a fist-sized, clearly experimental spider in front of the entire class, 2 professors, which one of them leads the experimental arachnid project, and a quarantine unit that is there specifically for those spiders, and nobody bats an eye. Okay, for real, In fact, Parker starts getting sick and tripping out, and his classmates are just sitting there laughing at him. Once again, this show just stomps on everything subtle. So he runs to the bathroom, and another thing that I wasn't a huge fan of, immediately gets his powers. He gets his super strength, enhanced senses, and superhero climbing abilities. Harry Osborn even comes into the restroom when he's freaking out, and he totally stays silent. I mean, for all Peter knows, he's about to start foaming at the mouth and just straight up die. I would have said something. Also, from where Harry comes in, he has to see Peter's clothes just lying on the ground after he's stripped down to his underwear here. I mean, is he not worried that his buddy burst down the door stripped naked and is now possibly roaming his dad's company building? Wait, that sounds a lot like what happens to people when they're on bath salts. Maybe Spider-Man is just Peter's extended bath salts rampage and we're seeing his drugged out perspective on where he thinks he's a superhero. Wait, when did this turn into a theory video? Anyway, let's talk about something I do like. One of the things that the show talks about is the scientific method. In fact, the episodes are named and based off of the specific steps and how Peter is using his abilities as a study. I like that a lot. I love when kid shows introduce education to a younger audience. And it's a good way to explain to the unintroduced who Spider-Man is and what his powers are. Good job, Disney. And back to the pacing issues, the first time he goes outside, he almost gets hit by a car and sticks to the side of a building 3 stories up. Now, what would I do if I jumped 3 stories and was hanging off the side of a building in New York City? Definitely not keep going up. What's wrong with this kid? And I'm not even joking, Peter actually goes, "Oh, I wonder if I have super strength," and literally smashes through a brick wall on a city residential building. Like, what if that's somebody's room? What would happen if he didn't have the strength to smash through the wall? Not a lot happens in the middle of the short episodes. It's really just Peter Parker vlogging and... Okay, guys, I can't let you get away without seeing this. I'm sorry.
When normal people do this, they call it parkour. When I do it, I call it parkour.
Aw, man, boo!
Also, I'm pretty sure they messed up on the depth here. He looks massive compared to the building. Oh, and the series follows this idea that Peter can't produce his webs. He actually builds the web slingers by hand. I actually like this idea more in the Spider-Man universe because I always thought it gave credit to his intelligence, but in this, it seems more unrealistic than usual. He just kind of throws together the perfect web slingers, and the show immediately turns it into a comedy act. And then it follows the trope where the main character puts a little mask on and then suddenly he's totally anonymous. I mean, look at this. Like, you can't recognize him? Oh yeah, Peter, you're a genius, alright. And I really don't think I need to talk about how the name Spider-Man is easily the first idea that any dude would have when trying to come up with a superhero name for powers like this.
Hello, world! My name is Peter Parker, but you might know me as... Webface! No, that doesn't sound right.
I mean, come on, Peter. Webface? So this medium not only has a store in the middle of the city, but instead of working her powers on the inside, she sits at this table outside? I mean, what's the point of having the store? It's gotta be really expensive. And then Peter straight up binds her to the table with his web like a proper superhero. And then the show establishes that his webs only last an hour. Actually, I don't think I've ever been told how long the webs last in other pieces of Spider-Man media. Probably because it's pointless. Now he's trying to figure out his outfit, and he whips this out. First watch, I thought they were going to go with this, and I thought it was just way too convenient. But apparently they thought so too, and it's part of the joke. I like that. He eventually goes with this outfit, which I've always liked his wrestling origin story, so this got my approval. In the second to last episode, he starts wrestling to test his abilities. Oh yeah, and Stan Lee gets this pretty extended cameo as Peter's personal cameraman.
What's going through your mind right now?
Honestly, the 5 steps of the scientific method. I'm up to step number 4, experimentation. I'm hoping this little wrestling stint will help me come up with the 5th step, which...
I meant regarding the wrestling match.
Oh, are there timeouts?
Peter goes up against Bonesaw McGee, and he's pretty entertaining. I like a dude who's okay with breaking some cameras with his face. Now the infamous scene where Uncle Ben's killer... Oh, I'm sorry, spoilers. This angsty cool guy runs through the back of a wrestling hall? Why? Why is this dude here? At least in 2003 Spider-Man, they explain that he robs the place, but here he apparently just kind of broke in without clearance. Who cares? Well, Spidey fights Bonesaw McGee in a pretty well animated and entertaining fight scene and drops this hot line on him.
Man, woohoo! I think Bones saw stars with that one.
This is a classic Spider-Man line, I love it. And then Stan Lee puts a pretty ominous tone heading into the final episode.
Hey, Spider, give me a good pose, 'cause you're gonna remember this day for the rest of your life.
This man will live forever. Wait a second. Hold on, what?
That's what ended my uncle's life when he surprised a burglar earlier tonight.
No way. The most important part of Peter Parker's Spider-Man's origin story, the murder of Uncle Ben, is done off-screen? You're kidding me. Disney just PC'd Spider-Man. Alright, I get that it's a kid's show, but I really think this could have been done differently. As a kid, it was probably the first time that I was exposed to something more serious in children's media. It was the first time that I realized the stories of heroes aren't built on rainbows and sunshine. I mean, they freaking murder Uncle Ben and Peter holds him as he dies, and it's all his fault because of his selfishness. That's rough, yo. In this, they just kill him off between episodes when he's never even introduced and they expect you to feel bad? If anything, I just feel gypped. I understand why they didn't shoot a man in cold blood on a Disney cartoon. I get it, but there's almost no impact here. It makes the whole situation significantly less powerful. However, credit is due for one of the most impactful scenes in a children's cartoon. I'll play it for you here.
The trophy is made up of 3 different kinds of metal and 2 different dioxides. I know that because I'm really into science, a subject my Uncle Ben encouraged me to pursue. He would have been proud of this trophy, but he'll never get a chance to see it. Because you know what else is made up of 3 different kinds of metal? That's what ended my uncle's life when he surprised a burglar earlier tonight.
But this right here, I feel, redeems a lot of what I just argued for terrific writing and excellent voice acting. Alright, so Uncle Ben just got iced, Peter is chasing down after his killer. This is the turning point in his character development, and when you start to see his realization of how serious taking this responsibility is. And they do a pretty great job. He freaks out on this dude and has this big internal dilemma. I was even surprised with this line.
Don't hurt me!
Are you making a request? Or quoting someone else from tonight?
I didn't mean to.
Save your excuses! All I want to hear is your screams!
The only issue that I have with this part is, despite how powerful this scene actually is, I'm pretty sure his character is going to continue being obnoxious and show irresponsibility, because it's a kid's cartoon. But maybe if we're lucky, we can expect some good character development in the story. And that's pretty much it. This wraps up the origin episodes and sets up the series, and my final verdict is, I think it's gonna be pretty good. I mean, for a reboot directed towards a younger audience, it's gonna be just fine. They took a good direction, they stayed true to the source material, and if it keeps going this way, it's gonna be a great solid series to introduce kids to Spider-Man, along with the new movie, and Spider-Man fans might like this as a lighthearted romp. I stated my opinions on the 6 short episodes. I might have come across as kind of harsh, but I'm the type of dude who overanalyzes cartoons, so don't take my word as gospel. Go ahead, watch it, develop your own opinion, and let us know down in the comments what you think. Do you disagree, agree, have anything new to discuss? Let me know, I'll respond. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, feel free to subscribe. If you don't, I don't know, sue me.
To be honest.
Yeah?
I like that you're a more upbeat thanks for watching. Because it kind of sounds, I don't know, I think you should end on a high note.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Should I leave out the sue me part?
Yes.
Okay.